Hello everyone, welcome to a new live stream. Um, so, two people watching. Hello, Milan, bonjour. Welcome to the stream. What we will do today, I should have prepared the screenshot, so you might have seen the thumbnail of this video. This is what we will try to do, so I will just get the image. Yeah, let's just open it like this. Yeah, so let's switch to the screen. Welcome. So I made this for the thumbnail of this live stream. And yeah, the idea is to add a new page inside of Flarum where we show the list of groups. And below the name of the group, we will show the list of users who are members of that group. It seems simple like that, but there are some tricks. And one important aspect is that we want to be able to choose which groups are visible, and we will also need a way to decide in which order we show the groups. And I think I also want to have the ability to have a description and maybe even an icon. No, we don't need an icon. The group has an icon, so we will probably show the badge somewhere. So that's the idea for today. We will stream for maybe 2 hours, and we will see how many features we can get working. And as always, if you have any question, it can be related to what I do, or if you have a question with something else about Flarum and the extensions, feel free to ask and I will see if I can answer it. That's the benefit of being live. So, I think we will start. So, it's been a while since we made a new extension. In the last few streams, we updated some extensions and I hope the background noise is not too bad. You will probably hear a bit of noise. But yeah, let's continue. Let me know if the sound is too bad. So we will make a new extension, and yes, Milan. I hope Milan is your first name. Yes, I will publish. Yes, it's planned to publish the extension, but as usual, yeah, most of my extensions I publish them, but I might not always keep them up to date later because I just have too many extensions. But yes, the extension will be on GitHub, and I will put it on Packagist if it works. Yeah, so we will get back to our old friend, the extension generator. So this is a tool that's made by friends of Flarum that helps you with new extensions. That way you don't need to create all of the files yourself. So we will use that tool because yeah, it's just easier. So I will copy this command. My Flarum is set up. I have a beta 14 folder that contains the Flarum beta 14. Here I have a workbench folder that's been configured to be able to install extensions for development. And here we have folders for all my extensions that are in development. I will open a terminal and I will run the friends of Flarum create Flarum extension, and I need to give a folder name. So we will call this one Flarum ext group list. I think we will use that name. It's the one I put in the title of this video. I don't know if I want to make it groups list. Group. I think I will keep it singular. I will just call it group list. And we can run this command. And it will ask a few questions once it downloaded the utility. Welcome to the generator. Do you want to write inside of that folder? Yes. The name will be my namespace / Flarum ext group list. Package description list select groups and their members. Package name, namespace. So this one will be the PHP namespace. So I will just use a variation of the package name. So Clark / group list. Author name, that's me. Author email. License, I will use the MIT license like I always do. Extension name will be group list. Do we want admin CSS and JavaScript? Yes. Do we want forum CSS and JavaScript? Yes. Do we want translations? Yes. JavaScript? Yes. CSS? Yes. I might not actually need CSS, but we will add it for now and I can always remove it. User resource folder? Yes. Extension ready. So where is it? Group list, it's here. So now I will open the extension inside of PHP Storm. So open, and so beta 14, and it will be somewhere here. Maybe I need to refresh. No, where is it? Group list. Open in PHP Storm. So these are all of the files that we have now after the generator. I will do a few things that I usually do. I will add an editor config file. To do that, I will just copy it from another extension. So I'll go back to my workbench folder and I think the bookmarks will have the updated file. So I will copy the editor config and I will copy the license file as well because I don't want to rewrite it. Oh, and the noise is coming. I hope it's not too loud. Someone is cleaning in the house. So where was I? Group list. So I will paste this, I will remove the license from the extension generator. And I think we are good to go. Next, what I usually do, I can remove this license text. I then install, here I have some things to do. So I go to the composer.json. Here most of the thing is already okay. I prefer to use, so anyway, we should use beta 14, but I will actually use the smaller or bigger than like this. I will allow installation on beta 14, but not on beta 15. Yeah. Next, we can choose an icon. Again, I will choose the background color and color. I usually use the same in all of my extensions. So I will just go back to bookmarks. Let's take a look here. We will copy from bookmarks. Copy the colors. This one is my purple and this is, I always make the icon white. And then I need an icon. So we need to use font awesome. So what can we use? So we need some kind of list. Should I pick one of the obvious choices? Or maybe do we have something that matches closer to groups? I don't know which one is best. I don't know if this one has been used before. There are a few extensions that already use the list icon, I think, so I will use the users icon, I guess. Or do we have the one with the shield? If I manage to write correctly, we have the user shield. No, it's not great. Okay, so let's use the FI users icon for now. Next, I will install the composer dependencies inside of my project folder. That way, PHP Storm is able to autocomplete the Flarum methods and check for deprecated stuff. And in the meantime, I can also install the JavaScript. So JavaScript, we have the package.json. I will go to that folder. So which one is it? Group list, JS. And then here I will use yarn, and I can run yarn install. I will put this one at the top. This one, we don't really need this one anymore. What I will do, I will go to my Flarum folder and I will install the extension. So composer require the name of the extension I just gave. And I install the asterisk at dev version. This will install from the workbench folder. Now that the JavaScript has been installed, I can start the compilation. So yarn dev will run the watch script. And we will soon be ready to see our extension. So let's just wait for this to finish. Yes, it has installed. So now I can go to my forum, refresh the admin panel, and so how is it called? Group list. That's the one. So I can enable my new extension, and yeah, no error, that's expected, but also nothing will happen. There will be, I think there is a console.log that runs. You see here we have a group list hello admin. This is part of what is generated by the extension generator. Okay, so let's get started. So what do we need? We need a new page. We will need, I don't know if we will need a new API endpoint. I think we will need one because currently there is no way to get the list of groups. Flarum does not show the list of groups. You can see groups when they are on a user, but you cannot get the list of groups. So we will need to add that. Yes, and we will need to decide a few things, like how many users do we show, and stuff like that. YouTube is complaining about the stream again. I hope you can still see me and hear me. Yeah. Okay, let's go. So I will first add the page, I think, because adding a page is the easy part. So let's create a new components folder in the JavaScript. Next, let's create the page. So it will be the group list page. Group list page extends page. So now we start from the JavaScript side. We create a new page that extends Flarum's page. For now, we will just make a view method and we will return hello world. Like this. Next, I register that page in the Flarum single page app. So here we have the initializer. I will simplify this a bit. Now I can do app.root and I can add a new root. How can we call it? We will call it Clark group list, of course. And I think I'm doing that. I hope I remember correctly. So next we need to give the path. For now we will just call it groups. And we need to give the component, and the component will be group list page. Think like that we have the page in the front end, but we also need to say to the backend that there is a page there, so we don't get a 404 error. So I will go to extend. I will use another extender. I will use the extend roots. No, I don't need to use this one. There is a shortcut. So I need to use, can go to the extend frontend, and I can tell this that there is a root. The path will be groups, and the name will be same name. It does not have to be the same name, but it's better. Yeah, and we don't need to give the last parameter for now. Okay, let's go to the forum and let's see how it works. So this is my home page. Let's try to type /groups. Yes, it works. So the backend acknowledge that the root exists, then it returns the single page app, and the single page app knows that there is a root here, and it returns my component. Perfect. Yes. Next steps. So something I actually want to do, here's a page I want to reuse. I want to reuse the sidebar. I don't want the page to be full page. So to do that, we will copy a bit. We will copy from, let's copy from user directory. This extension is a bit overkill, but it has the code that we need. So here there is a page, and in the page, this is used, so we will use the same code. Oh, it's using GSX, so I will not use GSX, so I will rewrite the same thing. So page, it's here, so we have a div that's called index page. We will probably keep the name. Yeah, actually we don't need everything that's here. We might need to keep this one. So for now, let's do it like this. Inside of this index page, we will have the hero from the index page. Next, we will have a container. In the container, we will have side nav container. And inside of here, we have the sidebar. Like this. Inside of the sidebar, there is a list. And then there is this. So like this, and we need to use, we will not create a new method. We'll just extend index page dot prototype dot sidebar items. I think like this it will work. Next I can add my index page result. Maybe some of the classes are not necessary. I will remove them later if I can. Okay. And here I can have my stuff. So let's put the hello world back in. Let's import some of the stuff. So I need at least a few ones. So I need the list item, I need the index page, yes, and I will put a little comment so PHP Storm does not complain about all of the M's that we see here. Okay, good. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. Okay. Now. Oh, just, yeah, we could also, I don't know if we will do like user directory and add a conditional link. I think we will add that, but we will do that later. For now, let's focus on the feature now. So we need to get a list of groups. And we need to get the list of users who are in that group. So one good thing is that we don't need to add anything to the database. we don't need to add any new model for the front end because like there is no new kind of data, but we need to store the list of groups and the descriptions. I don't know if I want to use, we can use a table for that, or we can use the settings. Don't know which one is better. I think using the database will be best if we start to have descriptions, because otherwise it will just be too much work. Yeah, I think we will use a table to store the list of groups, but they will not contain a lot. They will just contain the order and the description. So yeah. So I think we will do that. So let's create a new migrations folder. Let's create a table. So I will copy from somewhere else to start because it's just easier. So let's go back to the workbench folder. Does the bookmarks have a new table? No, let's find an extension that has a new table. So carving contest, let's use this one. Create entries table. Good, let's copy this. Let's go back to group list. Let's go to migrations. Rename the migration. So let's put the date of today. So we are the 15th. Like this. Don't even need to add a number after that. Create groups table. How should I name it? That's the question. Let's go with this for now. So let's call the table. Let's prefix with my name. Don't even know how to call it because how do we call the list of entries? Because I don't want to call it group list entries. It's just too much. I guess I will just call it group list. And yeah, it will not be plural, but I don't want to introduce a new name. I will have to introduce a new name for the model for this, but our group list items, I will call it like this, but I will call the model item or something like that. And what do we have here? So we will have group ID. We will have a content that will be shown under the name. And that's almost it. We will have an attribute called order. That way we can choose the order of everything we have here. We don't even need timestamps because it will only be for admins, so yeah, it's not really important. And group will reference ID on the groups table from Flarum. And if a group is deleted, we want this to be deleted as well. Perfect. Like this. So now we have the table. Let's create a model. But first let's create a folder for the PHP SRC. Next here let's create a model. So let's call this one group list item. It will extend the abstract model from Flarum. We need to say which table is used. So we can simply copy the name of the table here. And for our own sanity, we will document which properties exist. So we have ID, we have group ID, we have content, we have order, and that's it. That's everything we have here. What we can do is add a relationship for group. And we have this belongs to group from Flarum. We import and just like this. We have the relationship ready, and we can even do a little property group to help when we access. I don't know if we will access it directly, but that way we have the documentation. Okay, so now we have the model, we have the table. We need to create an API endpoint where we will return some data. So let's create a new controllers directory. Let's create a new serializers directory. Let's first create the serializer because it's easy. So we will create the group list item serializer. So this one will extend the abstract serializer from Flarum. It will have the getDefaultAttributes method. And in here we will return some information. And actually we will not return a lot, we will just have the content. We just need the content. Just to help us here, we can call this one item, and we can add a doc block for group list item like this. Perfect. Next we create a controller. This one, so this one will be group list controller. Let's call it like this, group list controller. Extend apps. Extend, how is it called? List controller. Abstract list controller. This is a controller from Flarum that we can extend. This controller, it takes. We can put a serializer property to say which serializer will be used, and the data just need to return the eloquent models, and it will be serialized automatically. So for now we can just do return group list item query get, and that's a good start, I guess. I can even already add order by order like this. Perfect. Next, let's continue. So what else? We will now hit this controller from the front end. So on the page, we will extend onInit. We need to call the parent onInit. Here we will do a request, m.request, no, not m.request, we'll use app.request. URL will be app.forum.attribute API URL plus, so how is this one called? Oh, we have not registered the controller. So controller is here, but we have not assigned a root for this. So let's go to extend. Now we will use the new extend roots. We will extend the API roots. We will add a new get, and this one will be called Clark group list. Yeah, let's just call it like this. And the name like this. And what will handle that controller, what will handle that root, it's our controller, like this. Okay, so now we know the path, we can use it in the front end. This. And we can do then response. And here, what will we do? So we can have this dot entries. How do we call it? Items equals response equals app.store.parse. How is it called? I never know by heart. I think it's called push payload or something like that. What I do, I usually check the source code. So if I go to the source code of the store, there is a method called push payload. Yes, and I can just use app.store.pushPayload. This will take the response from the API. This will put everything in the store. And it will return the list of items inside of my variable. Like this. And I can set, so I can make this.items be null by default. And I can fill it in with this. And it should be good already. What's missing is a model. By the way, we can check what will happen now. If I try now, there will be an error. There is indeed an error. Oh, we need to specify a method. So let's specify a method. Table not found, yes, because we did not migrate the data. So now let's go back to the terminal. PHP Flarum migrate. We have the new table now. Let's refresh. Oh, there is no longer any error. Let's see network. The request is made. And it returns no data. What we will do for now, to test, I will go to phpMyAdmin and insert something so that we can test. So let me just, let me go to phpMyAdmin. We will find the new table. So where is it? Group list, that's the one. And we will insert something. So we will create a new entry for group 1. I think it's the admin. Content, we will not put anything, and order, let's put 1. So now we have something. Let's refresh and see what kind of error we get. So here we see data. The data is correctly returned. Oh, there is no error. I'm surprised. Because here, or maybe there is no error because there is no type. So what I wanted to say is that we have not registered the model in the front end. So like this, the front end has no idea which kind of information this is. And so one thing we are missing is the type. On the serializer, we need to give it a type. So this one will be called Clark group list item. So is there an error now if I do this? No, there is no errors, but we get null because the frontend does not know what kind of data it is, so it just returns null. So what we need to do is create a new file. Let's create a models folder. Let's create a new folder for the group list items. So this is a model for the frontend. And here we can export default class group list items, extends model, import model from Flarum model. And here we can just have an attribute named content equals model.attribute content. I think that's all we need for now. Just having this and registering it, of course. app.store.models. Here I need to put the same name that I put in the serializer. So this is the type. And we say that this will be group list item. Now if I try again, the null is no longer null, we can see, and here we can see an object, and can see it has a content property, so we can assume it's correctly an instance of the new class we just made. Perfect. Now we will show this data. So let's go back to the page. So we have the this.items. Here we have content. So what we will do, we will actually create a new method. Sorry. I could continue to add stuff here where we have hello world, but what I will do, I will call this.content, and I will create the content method. And now if this.items equals null, it means we are still loading. So if this is the case, we will simply return the loading indicator. So loading indicator is a component that Flarum has. So we will use that component and we will simply return that component if it's null. And because we have a separate method, we can just use return here and it will skip everything that we have after. But if it's loaded, then we will return this.items.map item, and yeah, for now let's just put the list item, and yeah, there is not much we can show. I can show the ID. We will show more later. So does this work? So we can see the loading icon. I still have some logs, but nothing happens. Why is nothing happening? Because we did not tell Mitchell to redraw. So here we have the request. When the request is done, we log, but actually the UI does not refresh. So we just need to do m.redraw here. And this will tell Mitchell that, hey, we have some new data that was loaded asynchronously, and you need to refresh. And you can see it works. We have one item, it has ID 1, and we see it here. Okay, now, next step. I want to show the group name. But you can see in the request, there is not the group name. So this is what the API is currently returning. We have a group list item entry, ID 1, content null. There is not the group name. So I don't want to add a new property for the group name. I actually want to return the group serializer together with this. So I have already added the group to the, where was it? The eloquent model has a group relationship. What we need to do is add a relationship to the serializer as well. So here I create a method called also just group, and here I can return has 1. And here, so what I need to say, so I get the item as a parameter, just like the other method. So I need to tell this that we will take a relationship. So how is it? It's like, yeah, I think it's like, yeah, I don't even need to give, yeah. So I need to give it the model. Then I need to say which other serializer will be used for this information. So here I will use a group serializer that comes from Flarum. Just like this. And I could pass a third parameter to give it the name of the relationship. But if I don't do that, it will automatically guess, it will use the same name as I used for this method to get the method here. So this will work just fine. So now it means the relationship is available, but it's not included. It's not included by default. To include it by default, I go back to the controller, and here there is another property that's called include. This is an array, and I could simply add here the group. I say that when we request this controller, I want this to be included by default. And I think that's like this. There is another include, there is optional include. If I do optional include, I allow the frontend to optionally request the group. But here I want it all the time. So I just add it to the default includes. Now if we refresh, and I check the network tab, we can see that now there is still the same data as before, but now there is a new relationship object that tells that this entry, this item has a relationship with group ID 1. And then below we can see there is some included data, and the included data is the group. So now this means the group will be available in the store and we can access it from the JavaScript model. So what we do, first we define a relationship on the JavaScript model. So to do that, I can just have group equals model.has1 named group. I don't need to say, I don't need to tell it what kind of serializer is used or what kind of model it is. It will automatically guess from the relationship. I'm distracted because I see my cat going very fast outside the window. Don't know what's happening. So now I have the relationship, and this means in my page I can now go item, and instead of accessing the ID I can access the group, and then I can use a property on the group. But what are these called? So to do that, I will actually look for group. I will try to find the group.js. So this is the one from Flarum, and I can see which properties exist. There is a property named name singular, name plural, color, icon, and is hidden. So for now, we will use name plural. Let's go back to the page. So I can do item.group with parentheses and then name plural parentheses. So now this should get the name of the group that's associated with this item. And it works. Perfect. Yes, next step. We want to know who is in that group. So how do we return this information? We will use another relationship. So we will go back to the eloquent model and start from here. So we will create a new relationship that's called users. And here we will find all of the users who belong to this group. So we actually have a few options here. Because I could also, there will be another way of doing this, but I don't think it will be easier. So what I could have done, instead of returning my custom new model, I could return a list of groups from the endpoint, and I could have the users relationship be a property, like be a relationship on the group. Or I can do what I'm about to do and have the group and the users be a relationship of the item. I think either is fine. The only problem, if I made it a relationship of the group serializer, the problem is that if another extension tries to have a relationship named the same way, there will be some kind of conflict. I need to use unique names. And there is a problem of returning my description, my content. So I guess this solution is the easiest. Now I just need to build the relationship. So how do I build a relationship to users from here? So I need to use, I think, a belongs to many. Then the model will be a user from Flarum. But now it's the tricky part because, how do we build this relationship? So I really hope I can do it like this. Or I can just use has many true. Let's try it like this. So what is the name of the? So I need a table name. So the table already exists. It's the user. How is it called? Group. It's group user. So group user is just a pivot table. So group user. Then I have the user I think all of this works. The only trick, yeah, I think this will not work. Because I can only, no, I can give 3 keys, so I never know which one is what. We have related pivot key, we have parent key, and we have related key. I just never know. Because here we have this get key name. I think I can make that work. So if I use so foreign, so I think if I have group ID, I hope it's the correct order, then user ID, yeah, actually what I can do, I can just pass null and let it auto guess. The only one I need to customize is this one, because I want to create a many-to-many relationship, but I don't want to use the group list item ID. I want to use the group ID value that's stored here. I think if I do it like this, it will work. And what I can add is some kind of sorting. So let's save order by username, just so that we have some kind of alphabetical order. Okay, it's starting to get dark already. Let's light up. Yeah. So we have the relationship here. We can add the relationship to the serializer. So same as before, we create a new function. This one will have a this has many. Again, we take the item and we will return this with the simple use, how is it called? User simple. No, it's called the user, how is it called? Basic user serializer. So this is a serializer that's available in Flarum to return users with minimal information, because we don't need to get like the relationship with notifications and all kind of stuff. The basic just has username, display name, avatar, and it can include groups. And this will be a question. I don't know if we will include groups. For now, we will not. So we have the relationship. Now we need to include it in the controller. So we can add a new entry here, users, plural. Let's see if it appears when we go to the console. So refresh. Oh, there is an error. Column not found. Group list item ID. What's that? Group user. Okay, so there is something wrong with my relationship in Eloquent. So which one do I need to fix? So it seems like it has taken, it's trying to access a column named group list item ID. So yeah, it's one of these. It's trying to name it based on my table. I need to use group ID for another one of these, but I don't know which one. I will replace just one and see if the problem gets fixed. No, so that's not the one. So this is the one, and this one will be called user ID. Will that work? No error, good. Now let's see, so what kind of relationship do we have? I don't see any user, so I don't know if it works. But there should be one user, because I have at least one user in the admin group, so let's let's check this. So what could be wrong? So we want to get a list of users. I hope I can customize it like I'm doing. Otherwise, I will need to put that relationship on the group model. I'm just so confused with these names. Oh no, I have access to the 4 of them. Oh, I thought I only had access to 3 of them. I had a problem recently with something like that and I was just not able to pass what I wanted. So actually, related key, parent key. Related is the user and the main attribute is the item. So related key, this one can be automated because it will take the ID from the user. Related pivot key, this one is automatically guessed to be user underscore ID, but I have specified it anyway. And here I have group ID and group ID. Why is it not working? I mean, there is no longer any error, but it's not working. So I guess we will need to do some dumping. So let's dump the SQL query and see what happens. So this is the SQL query. Select from users, inner join group user on users. Where? Oh, okay, it's using a binding. Yes. So far so good. I just need to find the bindings, so get bindings. It should be one. Okay. Oh yes, I need to do. So I'm trying to debug the SQL request. So it's number 1. So this request should return something. If I go back to just the SQL, just so we can test. Let's test the SQL query so you can see. So this is the SQL query that we have. If I put it inside of phpMyAdmin and I know that the binding will map to 1, yes, I should get the admin. So this seems to work. The relationship seems to be okay. But nothing is written. Nothing is written here when I have the request. I'm not seeing any user. Where is my user? So is this called? I will do some debugging like this. Okay, so there is an error. So this is called, the relationship is called. So this means the include works. Why is this not showing up? What kind of oddity is happening? So if I try to open this in private browsing, just for the fun, I get the same. Don't get the user. Why is the user not included? Where is it gone? Users. I don't know. Let's try to add another user to the admin group, just so we have a bit more users. Let's go edit. Let's add this person to the admin. Let's go add some other user to admin. Like this. Now let's go back to the groups page. So is there a new user in my list? No, I still don't get the users. So I don't know where they are gone. The relationship is retrieved. So there is something dodgy going on. One problem is that I'm not sure that my code is actually retrieving the correct thing. Yes, there's one thing I have not tested, but it should still work. Like, so if I dump this again and I get the bindings, one risk with what I'm doing is that I'm working with a lot of IDs that are 1. So I could have switched by mistake some of them. So if I go back to my table, and if now I make the group, if I now use number 2, no, not number 2. The moderators are number 4 probably. So now if I refresh this, okay, it's working. It's taking, so it's really mapping with group name. So why is it not working? Group list. No, I'm still not seeing the users. Let's try to add the user inside of the moderators group as well. No, I still don't see the user, so I'm not sure what kind of bug I introduced here. So something I could try to do is to have the I need to debug this because I cannot go for the next features if this does not work. I need this to work. So I can use the load method to preload relationships. Actually, let's load the 2 relationships. So let's load group and let's load users like this. So do we see any difference? No, we still don't see the users. So now if I do a var dump of items first and get users, what's going to happen? So there is a user. I can see the relation. Or is there? There is a number 1. Yes, there is a user. So the relationship is loaded and there is a user, but it's not returned from the API. So what the hell is going on? And if I switch back to group ID 1, I should have a lot more users. Other user, yes, I see a few ones. No, this is admin. No, there is still only admin. No. I don't know what's happening. How did I show this? So the user is there. Don't know why it's not returned from the API. When I will watch this video again, it will probably be obvious what is wrong, but I have no idea. Does the has many? Does the many has an issue with this? Get relationship data. Why is this not working? So if I use a normal user serializer instead of basic user serializer, will there be a difference? No, there is still no users. How is that possible? What is happening? If I remove this? No. There is something odd. I just don't know. Just don't know. Here, by the way, I should put a unique. I should put a unique on the group ID so that we don't get the group ID 2 times. It will not make sense. Let's just do his. Is it called like this? Yeah. I don't know what to do, so I will just revert my migrations and make my new migration for now. So group list. Okay, so now I've changed a bit my table, but it will not change anything. Oh, did we get a new person watching? It's a bit of, a bit of a problem because it's not working and I don't know why yet. So let's create this again. Now we have again group ID. Let's try it again. I get the name of the group. That much is working. But the list of users, it just doesn't work, and I don't know why. It's being correctly loaded by the backend. It's just not returned by the API is not returning it. And I just don't know how to test deeper. Why would not? Why? Just don't know. Of course, I will need to add it on the front end, but this cannot affect the backend. Why is it not visible? If I open this in a new tab, I can use include users specifically, but it's not returning the users. Where are these users gone? Let's try renaming it because I just don't know. Let's try renaming this to members just to see if something changes, because at this state I don't know. Members. If I call it members, okay, it's still trying. Oh, okay, it's still trying to load. I need to rename it inside of the controller. I need to rename it as well. No, it's not working. I think I will keep it named members. It's good like that. But it's not working. What is happening? There must be something obvious. There are two options. Either it's something obvious I have missed like 15 minutes ago already, or it's a bug in Flarum. But yeah, more often than not, it's a stupid error that I must have done somewhere. But what could I try to? I don't know how to troubleshoot this, because I need to try another relationship, I guess. Problem is I don't have any other relationship on this model. I don't want to create a table just to test if I'm doing something wrong with this, but I guess I will have to do. I have no other ID, and I will not try to do something else tonight. So I will create another table, but it's just temporary. It's just so I can test my stuff here. So I just create a new table. I need another many-to-many relationship to test what I'm doing wrong. So here I will have the list, the item ID, and I will have the user ID. Next, I will do it like this. Item ID will be a reference to my other table, like this. Table primary is a composite of the two tables. Okay, let's create this table, run migrate. Now let's register the new relationship. So I will replace members. Instead of being like this, it will be belongs to many, but it will use my new table. And it will use item ID, user ID, and then I will remove this. Okay, let's try if this works. So basically I have created a many-to-many relationship between the users table and my own new table. So where is it? So this is the new pivot table. In here I will insert, let's take user 6 maybe, whatever that is, and make it together with the item number 1. Let's see if this works, because if this works, but problem is if it works I still don't know what went wrong. Okay, so it's not working either. Okay, so the problem is probably not with my Eloquent relationship. So the problem must be somewhere in the serializer. Ah, I see what it is. Ah, it's missing a return statement. How is that even possible? We need way more error messages. It's missing a return here. Okay, so now let's revert everything. Let's delete my equation that's not needed. Let's go back to just my normal method called member. Yes. Let's migrate again. Let's recreate the first entry. So let's go back to group list. Insert. Let's create a new one for group 1. Insert. Refresh. Let's go back to the network. Now we have the users. Much better. Okay, so the problem that held me back like half an hour maybe, it was a missing return statement. Fantastic. Okay, so now we can continue. So now we have the members relationship. And I can actually, if I go back to the JavaScript template now, so here we had the name of the group. So what I will do, for now I will have a div, I will show, let's put the name of the group in an h5, and then let's create a list. And here we can do item.members.map, user, create an LE, and here we can show user.username. Refresh. Yes, so now we have a pretty basic version of what we want to achieve. We can also see that now if I insert another one, so if I create one for moderators, it should show up below with the list of users who are in that other group. So we have a basic working extension now. What do I do next? I think we have everything. We have all of the data we will need. I think. We still don't have the admin UI where we can configure this without editing MySQL, but we have all of the data. So now what I will do is make it look nice. So let's do a bit of design. What I actually will do is use inspiration from another extension that's currently enabled. It's this one. So the WhoRead extension, it's another extension that I made. There is a list here, so it's not a good example because there is only one user here. Do I have a discussion with multiple users? No, there is no discussion with multiple users. So here we have a list, and the avatars they are shown next to each other. So I want you to use that as well. I want to do the same, except here we will have the name of the group, and then we will have the list. And don't even know if we want to show. We will probably make a few options, like do we want to show how is it called, like the online icon? For now, let's copy what is here. So how do we copy this? We go to the source code, WhoRead. So this is the extension that I want to copy. I note that there is a modal somewhere. It's probably here. Readers modal. And here, oh, there is a model. There is a component just for that. So avatars details. So that must be avatar details. And here we probably have, so this is the stuff that adds avatar, badges, yeah. So we will copy this, and I think we will just copy the component. Let's just copy the component. I might as well. So let's create a new component. Let's call it user list. Let's just copy this from my other extension. So what do we have here? So we have so group. So this one will be called just group list user list, something like this. Oh, I see something wrong. Oh, there is an error here in the other extension. I see there is still a props. How do I report this? I need to make myself a note about this so I can fix it, because it will break in the next Flarum version otherwise. Yeah. So I was copying some code. Yes. So here, what do we have? So this dot. So I want to use a static component here for one. So let's vnode at users. Oh yeah, here we had a difference. Yeah, we had a model that contains a user. We don't need to worry about that. So the user will be this. This should not happen. For now, we will not show the badge. Don't know how I will handle this. I will do that later. So for now, I will not show the badge. Here I will have group list, user list, item. Don't even need this, I think. Yes, maybe I need. We probably don't need the tooltip, so I can just drop this. Here we had the group list, user list, avatar, user. The badge for now we hide. Yes, let's go with this. And I need to copy the CSS as well, I think, because there is some CSS to make that possible. Let's take a look at what it looks right now. So if I use the user list component, so I will call this component and I will pass users like this, and users will be item.members. Let's see how it looks without CSS. Okay, it does not look good, but we see the content that we want. Next, I will copy the CSS from that other extension. So there's a lot of stuff. Let's copy the lot, and we will remove what is not necessary. So post footer, we don't need. Who read details, who read summary. So summary is not something we used. I actually don't have that class at all, so this I can all copy, remove this, I can place this here. So this, how is it called? So we have something called user list, so this would replace, I think this replaces this. Yes. Then we have the item, so this one is called this. Is there a width? I can just put this here. Online. So we had the avatar. Here we had the user. yeah, there is some redundant thing because it was a bit different. We'll just do it like this. The tooltip we don't use, so we don't need this. And the badge we will use, but for now they are not visible. So let's try with this. Let's see if this looks good. Here I have no problem copying from another extension because yeah, it's my extension as well. So I don't care. I can copy as I want. Yes, I think that's good. We have some problem with some long usernames, but we will maybe make all of this bigger later. But I think we are good to continue with this. Let's customize the title a bit. So what I can do here on the page, I can add a body class to be a group list page. If I do it like this, yeah, actually I will probably not use that class, but it's good if it's there because people can use it. So that class gets at the top here. What I will do is add a class to the titles. So let's just use h3 and have group list. Type. Let's just do it like this, group list title. And we will probably do some styling. Like I want to do it to make it bigger. Font size 2em. Let's try this 2em. Okay, let's keep it like this for now. Next, I want to show the badge. I want to show the group badge somewhere here. So I will add the badge. So how do I add the badge? That's a great question. I can take a look at the user model source code. So I have the user.js. So this is the model. When we show the list of badge, we call the badge method on the user. And here we can see it creates a group badge component for each of the groups from the user. But basically I can just copy this and I will have just one group and I just need to pass the group. And it just so happens that I have access to the group here. So I can just do it like this. Add a space and I can add the group here. And group this item.group. Just need to import group badge from Flarum. So import group badge from Flarum/component/group badge. And if I refresh, I have the badge now next to the name of the group. Fantastic. One thing I was thinking of doing was to have everything centered. So I think I will do that. I think it will look better if I put everything in the center. So let's put everything in the center. I think it will look nicer. People can always change it, of course, but yeah. I think like that, it's nice. Now let's just make the icons bigger. Again, people will probably want to customize that. They can easily do it with CSS. So avatar size. So one thing here is the size of avatars, because if I take my lorem pixel, I never know the size of avatars because Flarum makes them small. 100 by 100. Is that the max or is it because of my... let's check here. Let's take anyone's avatar. Yes, it's 100. Okay, so it does not make sense to show... I mean, it's not a good idea to show the avatar bigger than 100 pixels because Flarum will never have an icon available for 100 pixels. But we can go to 100 pixels, I guess. And here we will do 120. Let's see how it looks. Yes, nice. And we will center. Oh, it's supposed to be centered already. Why is it not centered? What the hell? Oh, the avatar is going outside of of the div. What did I do? Where do I have some padding here? So this is the avatar. So there is some margin on here. There is auto margin. What? Why is it doing that? Because the avatar does not have correct width. No, it has. There is some strange CSS stuff happening. So if we keep it like this, item, if I make the item even wider, no, it's not solving the issue. It's that auto margin that's causing some issues. Maybe I can just remove the auto margin. This is causing the issues. Oh, but it has a width. Oh, it has a width as well. That's where the problem is. So I need this to have the same width as the avatar. Okay, now it's centered. Okay, much better. Good. I think this looks better. I can add a bit more margin between. So here margin top. And I can make it a bit bigger, the username. So where can I customize this? So there is currently nothing. Let's make the usernames a bit bigger. Yeah, maybe it's too big. Oh, was the default just way smaller? Avatar, because if I remove this, it feels like, it always feels very small. It's 13 pixels, so it must be smaller than the default font size. Where is the font size defined? Where is it defined? Or is that the default font size from the 13 pixel? It's really small. But it's the font size on the body. I don't understand everything in Flarum with CSS. Because like the default font size is 13 pixels. It's really small. But then what changes the font size of... No, it's 13 as well? This is 13 pixels? It does not seem like... The sidebar is also 13 pixels. I cannot believe this is the same size. Anyway, let's make it a bit bigger. I think like this it's nice. it will still probably be not wide enough for some forums, but I guess people can just customize the width of the item here, and it will fix that problem. Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. So next, well, we still have not made the admin UI, and we are almost out of time. Let's add. I wanted to show the badges. So the thing with badges, like, let's start by adding the badges. So the badges are available on the basic user serializer. So we can include them by having members.badges here. So we will include the, no, not the badges, the groups. It's called, the relationship is called groups. So we will load all of the groups of all of the members, because some people might have more than one group. And I want to show the other groups. So let me show you how it works. So I will include the groups. So now if I just do this, it will load the groups. We will not see it. We will see it if we go to the network, probably. Just refresh again. So here there should be more groups. So now the users, each user, they should have a relationship with the groups as well. So now I can restore the code that I removed. So I can get the badges and I can list the badges like this. And I can show the groups. But now it's redundant, because of course I'm showing the same group that people are a member of. Just to make this more logical, let's create some, let's make someone that's a mod and an admin, and let's make someone who has another group. So I need to create another group just for the sake of the example. So let me create a new group. So for example, let's create a new group that's called supporter. How do we write support? Let's call it sponsor, because I know how to write that. So let's create just that other group, and this one, what can it be? FIS. Do we have something like this? Okay, let's just put like this. So let's do it like this. And I wanted to add that group to this person. Let's just add the group sponsor like this. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to show the other, I want to show the badges, but only the badges that are not already the same category. So to do that, so previously we have seen inside of the user, so badges return the list, and the groups will have a key named group followed by the group ID. So what I can simply do, so I can do a test. I can check if badges.has, if it has something called badge plus, I need to do it differently, because here I don't have access to the group that the user are on. So I will use a new attribute. So if there is something named like hide badge, I create a new attribute that's called hide badge ID, and if the badge item list has something that has the same name as whatever we will pass here, then we will remove it. So badges.remove the ID. And now I can just pass this property when I use the component. So here I will use hide badge, and the hide will be called badge plus badge.id. And not badge, it's group. It's called group. I hide a badge, and the name of the badge, the key of the badge will be named group followed by the group ID. And if I do it like this, it works. So it hides the group that we obviously know, because we are under admin. Obviously, all of these people will have the admin group. So now we can still see the other groups. just not again the admin group. Yes, okay. That's good. I think now we will do some admin side stuff. Yes. We still have some time. I want to finish the extension. Do you still hear me well? I noticed that my mic is going a bit elsewhere. Like this. Okay. Let's go to the admin side. We have not done anything on the admin side yet. So what will we do? We will add a permission first, I think, because it's the easiest. We want a permission to control who can see the page, who can see the groups list page, because it will expose some data. So most of the data you will be able to get from the view user list endpoint, but I still want to add a permission. That way, if people want, for example, to only have that for people that are logged in, I see that as a valid use case. So let's add some permissions. We will do some copy pasting because it's quicker and because we are kind of out of time as well. So let's go. What did I have? I will go to the WhoRed source code, and I will copy some stuff from there, I think, because I think we should find everything we need. So let's go to the admin. And let's see, so we have an add permission. I think we will not create a class, a method just for that, but we will import the same. So let's copy this. Let's go now to the admin of our own extension. Let's rename the initializer. Let's remove the console.log. Let's extend. Yeah, here we added some stuff, but we don't need to go that. So let's extend the permission grid. Let's add a new thing under, so under what? That is the question. So I think there is a category that's called read. No, it's called view items. So we will add something to the view items method, to the view items item list. And here I can just do items.add. And I will copy, I'll just copy from here. Items.add, and I will call my thing C. I need my full name, so group list C. The icon will be the same as the extension, so it was the user's icon, I think. Here we will have a translation. Just copy the full name. I don't need to use a variable for the prefix. So let's save a translation named admin.permissions.c. And the name will be saved as grouplist.c. And allow guests. Yes, we want to be able to select guests like that. Let's see that in action now. So what I did should add a new entry here. We can see it, and I can add just the translation. So let's create this. So let's copy this. Let's create the translation for this. Group list. Now if I refresh, I should have my text. Okay, now I can choose. But just doing that, of course, does not prevent access. I still need to apply the permission somehow. So to do that, I will go to my controller and I will do the permission check at the start here. So how do I know who is accessing this? I can go request get attribute. I can get the actor. And I can do assert can. It's singular. Get attribute singular actor, and then on the actor I can do assert can, and I can just use the same string that I used. Where is it? The same string that I used here. So Clark group list.c. So this is the name of the permission. I can just have this inside of the can. Now it should still work for me, but if I go in private browsing and I'm a guest, you do not have permission to do that. I can still load the page, I can just not load the data. If we have time, we will do that the way we will do it so you cannot load the page, but for now it's good enough. And just to show that it works, or to test that it works, I can put it to everyone, and now if I refresh, I can see it in private browsing where I'm logged out. Perfect. Next, let's add some settings. I want some settings. Let's go to components and let's copy the settings modal. So copy the settings modal from whoRed. Create a new directory for components. Let's create a new component that's called settings modal. Yes, I think like this. What do I need here? I don't need a lot of stuff. I can drop, I will just keep one switch. I can drop this. Something I like to do, I don't like to create a new name for every modal, so now what I usually do, I import settings modal, but I name it base settings modal, and then I name my own class settings modal, and I just extend base settings modal. That way it's easier, and I can also copy it to other extensions, and I don't need to rename it all of the time. So I need to change the prefix. So we have a lot of prefixes. So let's just have the prefix. Oh, sorry. I don't have time to cut the mic. So I have my prefixes for the settings and translations. So that's just a variable, so I can reuse it later. This I can remove, it was from whoRed. Here I can now just change, so I have a setting, so what kind of settings we will have? So I want the setting to show a link, just like in user directory, I want the ability to have a link to the groups page from the home page. So this will be a setting. I want another setting to decide, do we want to show who is online on that page? And I want another setting to decide, do we want to show other badges or if we want to not show any badge. So yeah, that's it. I mean, when I mean other badges, like the badges on each profile, because it might be too much if you have a forum where you have many badges, you might not want to show that. So yes, so let's create the settings. So how is it called in user directory? In user directory, you can see. Oh, it's not. How was it called? I just like to check how it's named in other extensions, because yeah, I can just do the same. Here it was called FOF user. Oh yeah, I will not name it like this. So okay, let's create my settings. So one will be show side nav link. I think that's a good name. Another one will be show avatar badges, and another one will be show online. show online pile. Not to confuse, because we could have another option maybe in the future where we only show users who are online on the page and we do not show the other ones at all. But here we show just the online pile. Is it named pile or is it named, how is it named? Users online. How is that called? I need to check the CSS. Oh, it's just called user online, but let's call it user online pile. I guess people will understand. Next, I can translate my settings. So show link inside navigation. Show other badges next to avatar. And show online status. Or maybe I can just call it status. Like this. Then there is a question, which one I make enabled by default. I think having the online status does not really make sense by default, so I will disable it. Even the show badges, I think I will disable these two by default, but I will keep the link by default because otherwise people will complain they don't know how to get to the page. Yeah, so let's do it like this. Next, we need to actually use, let's register the modal first. Let's not go too fast. So app.I never know how it's called, so I will copy from another extension. So this is how I register a setting. So I register just the settings modal, so I need to pass the name of the extension. And here I need to open the settings modal like this. So now we can test that the settings modal is opening. So let's go to my admin panel, refresh. Oh, we have seen something flashing because it remembered that we had enabled this extension last and that the modal was not open yet. But there is a bug with the modals. They sometimes close automatically, but it's not a problem. We can just go back to here and find group list. Now we have the 3-dot menu. We can click settings and we see the modal that I just created. I notice we are missing a translation for the title, so I will add that right now. So user list settings. This will be the title of the modal. Let's check that we have added that. Okay, now we have a title, and if I try to save just to see if it works. Yeah, that works. Okay, good. We still don't have the settings to create the list, to choose which badges are shown. I hope, I think I will do that. I will do the stream a bit longer and do that, because otherwise I cannot publish the extension if it is not ready. But now let's just expose the settings so we can use them. So let's add a new providers directory in PHP. Next, let's create forum attributes provider. So this will be a service provider from Flarum. Next, we will use register. Inside of here, we will use this app events listen, and we will listen to the serializing event from Flarum. We will call a class named attributes, not a class, a function named attributes. Let's just call it serializing. Call it serializing, listen for the event. Next, if the event is the forum serializer, we will add some attributes. So event attributes plus equals. So this, all of this is just a listening for an event in Flarum, and we will add some attributes when the forum serializer is requested. And I can also, will need access to the settings. So setting repository interface. So I resolve the settings repository interface out of the container. Then I can have my settings here. So what are my settings called? I will take the names again. So I will just use the same names. So like this, settings get. I could maybe make some kind of loop here, but it's just not worth it. Because here, then I need some conditions anyway. So the setting, if it is different from 0, so because the settings cannot really contain booleans, you can see here I have some conditions. When it's enabled, I store 1. When it's disabled, I store 0. And what I will do here, so this one needs to be enabled by default. So I will check different from 0, because if it's not set, it will be null and it will be different from 0. But the other ones, because I want them to be disabled by default, here I will check, are they 1? Because that way it will be disabled by default. And then online status, like this. There's just one last thing that I can do here. So we don't want to show the link for people who cannot see the page. So we will do just like in user directory. We will add an additional check here. We will check the actor. So we have access to event actor can, or I could use has permission here because it's more verbose. So I will check if the user, I will check if the setting is turned on, and I will also check if the user has access to the page. And if it does not, I will just hide this. So has permission, and the permission is called, where is it? Here, see. So I use the same name. That way I will not show the link if the user cannot see it. Perfect. I think the code is good. Now I need to register this provider. So to register the provider, for now it's not possible to, it's currently not possible to use an extender for that. There is not an extender, but there will be one soon. So for now I just use app and I use register, and I can register my provider, forum provider, like this. Here I use just a function. I can just pass a function and I can have a binding. So I will resolve the application and I will register the provider in the application. Good. Let's see if we have access to the new settings. No, there is an error. Boot error in extend. Yeah, there is a comma, but it should be a semicolon. Let's try again. Okay. Now to see if it worked, I can take a name here and I can test. I can call in the console app.forum.attribute, put my name, and you see there is a Boolean value, so it means it must be working. Otherwise I will get undefined. Okay, now I can use these values. So I will go to user directory. I will copy the thing that was adding a link, because I will need the same. So I go to the forum side. I can extend the index page. I need to import a few things. So let's just copy the extend and app. Next, let's import the index page from Flarum components index page. Extend nav items, then the items. Next, I need to check the permissions. So the permissions, or I mean not really the permission, but the attribute on the forum is called this. If we cannot do that, I will return early. And otherwise, I will add a link. So I will add the full name like this. Link button. Let's import the link button. Let's have the route be to my page. So my page is called like this. The link will be fr. Oh, but is user directory using the same icon that I chose? I think I might have used the same icon as user directory. No, directory uses a different icon, but do they use the same icon for the side navigation? I don't want to reuse the same icon because people might use the two together. Let's just enable user directory just to check what icon they used. No, it's a different icon. Okay, perfect. So no problem. I will keep that. I will keep my icon with users. That's good. Okay. So FA users like this. I'm not sure why it was 85. Let's just use the same thing anyway. So add like this, and here I can use my own translation. So forum dot nav. Let's call it nav link. Or just nav. Groups. Let's just call it groups. People can rename it to, I mean, people will probably want to rename this to something like team, but I don't want to make that choice in my extension because, yeah. Or maybe just call it group list. That way people know it comes from this extension. So group list. So now there is a link. So I can click from the home page, and we can also see it's highlighted when we are on the correct page. And if I go to private, so if I go here, I can see the link as well. And if I change the permissions so that I don't have access anymore, then the link goes away so that we cannot see it from the home page. Perfect. Let's go back to everyone. Yes. There is another thing that's not implemented. I don't know actually. User. Yeah, there is something in Flarum. I don't know if I want to implement that. I probably won't implement it. Yeah, it's something people will need to be aware of, but yeah, like, because in Flarum there is this concept of the scope visibility. So you can, other extensions can, or even core, they can configure who can see a given model. But I don't know of any extensions that hide some users. Because right now, if an extension was using this feature to hide some users, for example, disabled users, if you wanted to hide it, you could with that feature. But my extension is not using that feature. It's pulling the user list right from the database. So if an extension was trying to hide a user, it would show up here. But yeah, I don't know how to get the actor where I would need to. So I will not worry about that because I don't know of any extensions that does that. And even if there was an extension doing that, usually you would not have hidden users inside of public groups like this. So yeah, I guess that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so now let's take a bit more time to finish the admin interface, because it would be nice if we actually had access to a way to configure all of this from the UI. So where will we put the settings for which groups to show? So we will use the settings modal, I guess. So we will show this somewhere inside of here. Yeah. Now, how do I do this? So we need to build some kind of interface. Unfortunately, there is nothing to help us, so I need to create one. Now I'm just thinking, can I copy something from somewhere? I think I will copy what we have in Masquerade. So in Masquerade, there is a UI control for creating a list. It's this thing. I think I will just copy this and adapt it for what I need, because it will just take too long otherwise. And we will not make it a drag and drop. It might be for another version. So for now, let's just create a new component. Let's have that be the group list configurator. Maybe let's call it like this. Now let's have this. Let's create a component that's not a Flarum component, just a Mitchell component. That way I don't need this. Don't even really need this. Yeah. What do we have here? So we have a table. Oh, we have multiple tables? What? There are multiple tables? What the hell? So we will just return the table. Like this. Next, let's just make this a bit more compact, because there is formatting on the other extension. So if I just make it something like this, I will try to explain what happens in this code, but first I just need to tidy it up a bit. Yes, okay, so yeah, let me just clean this up a bit, because I just don't like when everything is on a new line. It just takes so much space. I like how compact it is when we just use Mitchell templates with plain old JavaScript objects like this. Now if I format this and yes. Okay, now we have something much more compact and it still does the same. So this I can remove. So basically we have a table. And each row has a few buttons already there. It has a button for moving up, a button for moving down, a button for deleting, and there is one field for some text. What I will do now, so I need to add, I will create a new line. I will make it so there is a line for new entries. So there is a loop with everything that exists, but there will be a line as well that just contains a drop down. So I will use the select component from Flarum. In the select component, I will show a list of all of the groups that exist in Flarum. I will actually copy from... I have noticed in WhoRed I have a list of groups because you can select them for another feature. So where is it? Here you can see there is a list. Oh no, there is. Oh, it's not a drop down, but I had something that was accessing the list of groups. So I can use just this. So in the backend, unlike in the front end, we have access to the list of all groups because Flarum loads them for us. So I have no difficulty building an object with all of the groups. I don't need to make a request to do that. So I can just take all of the groups from the store, then do a for each. And then I can add to the group options. I can add group.id and I can have group.name plural used for the label. Then I can have all of this be available inside of my select. And when something is selected, I can run some code to add my new group. Yeah, that I will just I will show you what it looks like before I go too far. So for now we have this component. This component I will show at the top of my settings modal, like this. Okay, so let's see how it looks like before I do anything more. So let's refresh. Let's go here. Cool, there is an error. Let me fix that. So there is an attribute somewhere. Where do we have attribute? Okay, so we don't want this. We will just have this dot items. Okay, so we have a table. You cannot see the table because it's here, but there is a table. For now, there is only one line, and inside of that one line, there is a drop down, and in the drop down, we have added the list of all groups. And something we want to do, just like I did in WhoRed, I want to hide. Yes, I want to do it like here. I want to hide guests and members because it's not a real group that people are members of. So I will just do it like this to hide these groups. I need to import group. So if I go back here, let's go back to the settings. So now I have a list with all of my groups. So I can select a group, and when I select it, for now it just logs the ID in here. Now we want to connect that with some controllers, so that we have a request to create a new item, a request to delete one, and a request to change the content that will be available. So we need to create a few things. We need to create new controllers. So we will have a group store. We will have a group update controller, and we will have a group delete controller. So these will extend, so delete controller. So there is an abstract delete controller in Flarum. We can just reuse that controller. This one just takes, just do something here. So here we need to find, so I will do some copy pasting again because it's just easier and there is less risk of making a mistake. So which extension did I work on recently with that kind of stuff? Thinking hard, I don't remember. Which extension did I just do? So let me just check. I must have done something recently. What? Oh, okay, yeah, that one might be okay. So this one is not on Discuss yet, but it's a new extension I'm working on for someone. So this one has some controllers, and you can see we have a lot. We have store, update, and delete. So what I wanted to copy is this. So actually, I will copy the full stuff. So what we do first, we need to get the ID from the request. You will see later where that ID comes from, but we take the ID. Then we need to make a group list item. We make a query to get the item that maps with this. And then here we have some permission checks, but actually we will just get rid of all of this stuff. We'll just do assert admin because this feature is admin only. So actually, I can just do the request before. I can even do the check at the very beginning. Check that the user is an admin, then get the ID, then get the model, then delete. And this one we can rename to item, like this. And that's it. We have the delete controller. Next, we will do something similar in the store. So extends abstract store. I don't think it's named store, however, it's abstract create controller. Let's extend this one from Flarum. Basically, this one will create something and return the 204, not the 204, the 201 response code. This one, we need to give it a serializer because it will return some data. So I just return serializer. And I will add an include because I want to include the group so I can show it in the front end. And here what I will do something very similar to before. I will check that the user is an admin. Then I will create a new, I need a validator. In which order do I do this? So I can create a new item, so new item. Next I will save it, and then I will return it. This is super basic. Next I will create a validator. So I need to check. Technically, I don't even need to check. I will try with no validator. So here I will just have the group ID. What I will do like this. I will first try to get the group. So I will do a request for group from Flarum, new query, find or fail with whatever the user will have given as request get parse body data.attributes.group ID. For now we will do it like this. So when we create a new entry, we will pass the group ID. Here we will try to find the group. If the group does not exist, there will be an error here before we try to save it. Next, we can access the group relationship and we can associate the group and we can save. Perfect. Next, next, we will do the update controller. So the update controller will be very similar. So this one is just an abstract show controller, actually. I think that's how we usually do it. It's just, or is there an update? No, there is not an update. So we will just take a show controller. We will have the same includes. And in the data, we will again, sorry for jumping between the classes, but again, we will just check that the actor is admin. Then I will do what we do in delete. I will get the ID. Then I will get the item there. And next, I will check what kind of attributes were passed. So if I get some content, so if I get some content from data.attributes.content, I need to get it from request get passed body. So if there is some content, here I will do some stuff with the content. How is it called? Is it called content? Yes, it's called content. Yes, I just need a binding so that it knows what it is. So here I will do something with the content, and if I have the order, I will do something with the order. This, and basically order, I will just do it like this. And content, I will need to parse the content for Flarum. We will do that in just a moment. And then at the end, I can call item save, and I can return the item. And that's it. Next, I can register my routes. I will rename the controllers because the name is a bit confusing because it looks like it will edit a group, but we'll just call it item. Just rename all of this to item, item delete, item create, item update. Next, I can go to my extend.php and I will register the routes, so admin. And here we will create some new entries. So here we will have a /items and we will have a post. This one will be for the item store. Next we will have a patch. We will have a patch on items / and now that's where the ID comes from. So again, I will copy from another extension for the ID and just have something like that. Actually, it's just a number, so I can just have like this. So /items. So this will be the update, and then at the end we will have the delete. And item delete and item update controller. So now we have 3 new routes that can be used in the admin. How do we use these routes? So we will reuse the model. So the model, we need to move it. We need to move it because both the Frontend and both the forum and the admin Frontend will use it. So I will create a new folder called common. I will move the models to common. And now I just need to check that the import is still correct. So now I import the model here. And I will do the same inside of admin. PHP Storm is so good. When you copy from a file to another, it just adds the import. But you see, in the admin, we also import the common model and we add it here because we also want to be able to access it. And lastly, here we have the list of items. And what we will do, we will load them up from the database. To do that, we will use the same endpoint that existed for the front end. We just use the same endpoint. And that's all we need. So if I will also use null. And just if it's null, we will also do something. No, I guess I don't really need to. It's better if I make it null, that way we can have a message so that people, if there is an error in the network, people will not be, they will not be confused with why there is nothing. So if items is null, then we will just return td, and this one will be, I don't even want to make a translation for that. I will just, I can have the loading component. We just have the loading component. So this. So now if I refresh, what do I see? Cool, we have some errors. Loading component isn't defined. It's loading indicator, I think. Where is it? Here. Okay, so now we have something. We have some problems, but it's normal because I have not changed the names that were in the code that I copied. So now we have the list of whatever exists. What we can do now, so we had the select. I want to make a label so that you know, like, select something. So here we need a translation. I should have a prefix, I guess. So I will have a variable to contain my translation prefix. This one will be admin.settings. Let's call it items. Next, let's use test here and add. This one will be called add a group. So now if I check that again, now the list here contains the text add a group, and if I select something, so it does not change the value. That's intended, so that when you click, it just logs the value. But because I specify value equals empty string, and it cannot change, then the dropdown will always show the first label. But that's exactly what I want. This I want to stay there. Now when you choose something, I want to call app.request. I will make a request to URL. So method post URL will be the same URL as before, but now it's /items and it's post. And I will pass a body. Body will contain data. Data will contain attributes, and attributes will contain group ID, and ID is value. So this is the request we just created the controller for. The reason we need all of this stuff, why do we need data attributes? It's just so that we are JSON API compliant. We don't really need to be. I could just put the group ID at the root. But yeah, I prefer if I keep the same syntax as all other endpoints. That way it's less confusing for someone who might want to interact with this API from another script. even though it's very unlikely because this will probably only be used by my own extension, but whatever. So now we create, so this will create a new thing. I can then have a then response. And here, when I get the response, I can do this.items.push, and I can push app.store.push payload response. So this will read the response, add whatever was returned into the store, and then it will add it at the end of the items list, and then I will read row. Like this. So now this means I should be able to add new entries into the list. So let's try that. Let's add a new entry for sponsors. Yes. But there will be a conflict if I try to add the same one 2 times, because in the database there is a duplicate, there is a unique constraint. So for now, let's not worry about that one. But we see it works. Now let's have this field actually show something useful. So the first column, we will show the name of the group. So let's add a new column. Here we will show item. I need to rename it, I guess. Item.group.name plural. This one we will not allow to customize. Once you have created an item, there is no need to be able to change the group name. You might as well just delete it and recreate it because it contains like almost no information. So we will just show it read-only. So where is it? Here. So there is a problem. Option is not defined. Oh, okay, so there was some stuff. So value. So here we have a field. So I could already create it. So it will be I will keep it. It will be a text area. The value will be item.content. And when the value changes, I want to make an API request. I will call item.save, and I will call that with content my new value, and I will do a then, and then I will redraw. Like this. And here we had some stuff to move and to delete. I can already implement this one. So this one will be item.delete. And with a refresh. And what I can do here is just delete. When it's deleted, I also want to remove it from the this.items. So here I take the index. I can just call it index. So I take the index and I remove it. And yes, and here we had move. The move, maybe I will keep it like it is now. This one I can drop as well. And move, how did it work? So we had the index. So this dot. So previously the code that I copied, it was manipulating an array. It was not a list of database entries, it was just an array. So here I don't need the code exactly like it is. Here we just had a system that was trying to find another. It was deciding the new index. And then, so I'm not sure how I want to do that. I want the order. I think I will just use the order will be the index. and that way it will be the easiest, I think. So I can actually also have the order be available here. I can make the index be this.items non-length -1. I can make it so I can store the index or the order like this. Order. Can make it like this. I think that's great. It can just be length actually. It will be the next index. So now when we move the two items, I don't want to move them in the list immediately because here we have, so splice removes one of the items and it adds it at the new index. And how I will do this, I need to make a request to my API in between. So it's not options, it's items. But this I only want to do after the request. Now what I need to do is do a request on both of them. So index, how do I do this request? So move is the first one. So there is index. So this will be a reference, so I can do save. And I also have the new index, and I can also call save. And here I need to change the order. And the order will be whatever the value was. No, it can be just a new index. So this one can be new index. And this one can just be index. And now I can do a promise.all. I think it's like that. Promise all. I will wait. For I wait for these two promises to finish, and then I switch them in the list client side, and then I read true. I think this might work. Let's try this. So let's try deleting. Cool. Yes, I have not implemented something. It assumes that there will be an API code like this. I have two options. I can implement a method inside of the model in JavaScript to tell it what the API endpoint is, or I might just as well use the default here. I can just use a dash. Yeah, let's just use a dash. That way the automatic name, because it assumes that whatever the name of the serializer is, the type inside of the serializer, it assumes it will be the URL. So I can just use the same thing and it should work. Let's do this. So there is a problem. There is a 404 error. Group list item. Group list item. Oh, is it singular? Did I name it singular? Oh, I name it singular. So here I want it plural. The type, I usually call it plural. So this means I need to change it inside of the two registrations here. The name of the model, yeah, the name of the, yes. So the items are plural. Okay, let's try this again. There is another problem, like the modal closes. I don't know why it closes, but I don't want that to happen. Don't want the modal to close. Okay, so it's disappeared, but yeah, there is a problem. The modal closes every time you click a button. This must be because there is a form in the modal and it submits the form of the modal when we click a button. That's one of the most odd things of HTML. If you just have a button, it's just a button, but when we click a button, it submits a form, and Flarum has an event on the form that closes the modal when you submit the form. So we don't want that to happen. How can I do this? To prevent this from happening, what I can do, I can have an event on the table. I can have an on-click on the table, catch the event, and call event.stopPropagation. This should prevent the clicks from closing the modal. No, it doesn't. What can I do? Or should I just call prevent default everywhere? I guess I would just call prevent default everywhere. Let's just add this. So it seems to be working, at least in the front end. Let's see, is it saved? No, it's not saved. So what happens in the network when we do that? So it makes two requests. It gives order 0 to the second one, and it gives order 1 to the first one, so that's what I'm expecting. But now, does it save? Oh, it does not show the order, so I need to go to the database, I need to connect again. Let's check. So if I go back to the database, I have my table, order. Okay, everyone has one. I guess the problem is that 0, the problem is the 0. Because the 0 is not, where is it? Here we have the check for truthy, but then of course if it is 0, the test does not pass and it does not update. So if is int order, or maybe I can just do if order is different from null. I guess it will be enough. Same thing with content actually, because if you want to be able to or maybe I can just maybe I should just use has. Let's just check if it exists in the array instead of trying to check if it's truthy or falsy. So exists. We'll just do it like this. Here I still need to do something with the content. Yes, okay, let's go back to the admin panel. Oh, we are nearing 3 hours of stream. People are still watching. It's unbelievable. Where do I see the total runtime? It used to tell me. I think OBS will tell me yes, 2 hours and 45 minutes. Well, if you're still with me, that's nice. I want to finish this. I don't want to leave this half finished because I might never take on this extension again. So I might as well finish now so that people can at least do something with it now. Load settings. So now if I move this one up, and if I check the database, it's still not, both of them still have number 1. What the hell is happening? Or is the data not data attributes order? Data attributes order. I will dump this and see what happens. Let's take a look at the dump. So okay, so neither of them dumped. So something is not running at all. Let's dump here. Let's do again. Okay, so now we have 0 and we have 1. Okay. And what about the exists check? False and false. Thanks, Laravel. Why is it not working? Determine if the given key exists in the provided array. Does it only work with flat arrays? So let's have attributes equals array get. We will extract this. We will extract data.attributes. And then we will do the checks only on this array. So if we just do it like this, it's a lot more compact as well. What happens with this? True, true. Okay, so exist does not work with the dot notation. Interesting. Okay, let's take a look at the new code. Actually, I didn't need to refresh, but okay, so now I have changed the order. Let's see if it's saved. Yes, it's saved. Amazing. And see if it's reflected when I load again. Yes, it works. Okay, so now we have a simple ordering system, and we have the content now to handle. So what do I do with this content? So what I want to do is to have it formatted so that you can include links and stuff. So to do that, I will copy, so I will not show you what I copy. I mean, I will not show you where I go, but I will show you the code that I get. So there is some code somewhere. So we will not make a WYSIWYG editor. We will not have a preview, but we will parse. We will parse all of that. So yeah, so that's how it works. So yeah. So actually, do I have everything I need? So here we have the content. So if we give content, we will get the formatter from Flarum. So we'll get from Flarum formatter, there is a formatter class. We will resolve that class. And here what we will do, we will actually use, for now we'll use the parse method. We will parse this. And we will store it inside of the content column. So what we do is when we pass the source for the content, we will pre-parse it inside of the formatter. So this creates an XML representation of the content. So this will happen at this stage. And next what we need is to render it. So inside of the serializer, it's here. Here we had the content. So what we will actually do is get the formatter again. And so we will have how can I do this? So we will have attributes equals content. So how do I do this? So we will have content, and we will have content HTML. And the way this works, so content, we only need it for the admin when they edit because they need to see the source code. But content HTML is for the user. So what we do here, so if the item has content, then we will get the formatter and we will add attributes content HTML equals formatter render, and we will render the content. This will create the HTML. Now if the actor, I mean, I could just do it. I guess I will not add a special case for the actor because there is nothing really secret here. I can just unparse the content. I guess I will just unparse the content here as well. So like this, and attributes, return attributes. Okay, so we just do it like this. We have content null, content HTML null. If there is content, we get the formatter and we create the unparsed version and the parsed version. This one is only needed for admin, but whatever. We can return it to the user as well. It's not that important. Okay, so let's try to save something. So there is no save button. It will save right on the on change. So I have already written that code. So it passes. So in the request, it gives the content, and in the response, you can see that it was parsed to a paragraph. And if I have a link in Markdown, you can see there is a link in the HTML version. So yeah, that works. If I go back to here, you can see the order changed. And I just want to show the content now. So if I find my page, here I had the title. So now if there is content, so if, oh, I need to add a property for the content HTML. So let's go here, let's add a content HTML to the list of attributes on the model. Next, I can check if there is content HTML, and if there is, we will add a new div that will contain the content. And to show the content, we will use the m.just function. And inside of m.just, we can pass the HTML. So you need to be careful with the m.just because you might enable HTML injection. But yeah, we assume that the HTML that comes from Flarum formatter is safe. So because that value comes from the render function, we can assume it is safe. Now if I refresh this, the HTML is used and added just here. And maybe we can just add a bit of margin below this thing. So let's just add a bit of margin. A bit more maybe. Okay, I guess that's nice. We will probably stay like this. I don't think there is a need. Oh, we have not implemented all settings. We have not implemented, we forgot to implement. So let's do that and I think we will be finished. Let me know if you notice something else I have forgotten. So we have the two last settings here, we need to implement them. So we have already made them accessible to the front end. We just need to use them. So we had the show avatar badges. So this one, we will go to the user list component. And here we had the badges. And what we will do, we will just check. So if app.forum.attribute, we check, is there this permission? If so, how can I do this? I think it will be more pretty if I use a method. So I create a badges method. Inside of here, I can check if we don't have that setting enabled, we just return null. Otherwise, we do this stuff. Then we return that stuff. We also need to have access to the user. So let's just have user and hide badge ID. Like this. I think like that it will be good. And then we can call this dot badges. We can take the user and we can have the badge like this. So now if this is false, we will return null and we will not show the badges at all. And then we have the user online. And for the user online, same story. Just need to check this. This one I guess I can do online because what just happened? Oh, I replaced the text by mistake. So here we check the permission, the setting, and the setting is called show online status. Okay. Oh wow, we are nearing the end, and suddenly we have a lot more people watching the stream. Welcome to the new watchers. We are almost done with the extension. We will do a quick recap of what was done, so you can also see and comment. So let's check. So the badge has disappeared, and if I disable the show the badges next to avatars, they also disappear. So I think all of the settings work. We have not tried to disable the link. If I disable the link, it disappears. Okay, so that works. So the three settings seems to work. Here, if I try again, oh, there is an error. Oh, there is. This one was working before. Oh, we renamed. We renamed the API endpoint to create new items. So I need to fix this one. So if we go back to the settings, so now if I wanted to create a new one for sponsors, it works. If I delete it, it works. Okay, but there is still the problem that you can try to create it 2 times. I don't want to add a validator now. What I will just do, I think, is hide them from the list. What's happening here? Comma expression. Oh, it's missing an M. What I can do is hide groups that have already been added. So to do that, I can change this here. So if let's change a bit the condition. So if this is a virtual group, we will hide it. And then we will check if this.items index of, no, how can I do that? So items dot, so if some item const, so I will have the const used groups. I will have existing groups. This one will contain all of the groups that have already been added. So to do that, I can take this.items.map item.group.id. So this will take all of the IDs of the group that have been used. And here I can return existing groups.index of the current group equals -1. So that way, do not suggest groups already in use. So now with this new feature, what has been used should disappear from the list, and that way it should be it should not be possible to run easily into the duplicates error. But there is an error with my code. This.items is null. Oh yeah. So this.items, when it loads, it might be null. So we need to handle that case. Okay, and now, no, it's still showing the groups. So oh, it's group.id. Because here it should not offer me anything because I have added all of the groups. Yeah, I cannot add a new group. And if I delete one, then it becomes available. Oh, but it comes, what? It's at the top now? What the hell? No, there is a bug. Why is it not working? I guess it added it at the top, and because it had not redrawn, I guess I will not worry about that. It has taken enough time like this. So let's do a recap of what was done. So we have this new extension. It has one permission. It's who can see the group list. It has a settings modal. Inside of the settings modal, you can add the groups. And once you have added them, you can add a description. You can reorder them. You can delete them. Then you have settings for do we want to show a link? It's enabled by default. You have other features that are not enabled by default. And that's it for the settings. And in the front end, you have this new page, which will show the groups that you have selected in the same order that you have selected. And you will see the names of the users that are members of these groups below. And there are two features that you can enable. You can enable the online status, and you can enable the other badges, and if you have the status will appear on the side, and the other badges will show badges that are different from the badge under which they are listed. And of course people can be in multiple groups at once. Yeah, I think that's it. Something I will do, but we will not do it today because we have taken enough time already. Like, we could preload this. When you load the page, we could make it so the data gets preloaded. And by doing this, we could also have control over the page. Like, if you are not allowed to see this page, we could show an HTTP error. But yeah, I will not do that today. I don't have enough time. So I think that's it. I will not push it. I think I will take care of pushing this to GitHub later. Or do you want to see me push it to GitHub? I guess I can do it online. I can do it now. Oh no, because I need to add a README. So I will do it later. I will push it to GitHub sometime later, hopefully tonight. Yeah. So this code will be on GitHub and you will be able to see it, and if you want to make a fork or something based on this, you can, and I will also publish it to packages if people want to experiment with it. So yeah, I think that will be all. Let's switch back to full screen. Yes. So that's all for tonight. If you have suggestions for future extensions, let me know. Something that can be done between 2 and 3 hours. You can see even this seemed simple at first, but this is already a 3 hours extension. So yeah, it really has to be simple if you want me to show it during the live stream. Or we can do some updates or additional features to existing extensions. Yeah. So that will be all. I will publish this to GitHub later. And I guess, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next weekend, probably. Follow the thread on the forum, or me on, actually you don't see, like, oh, it's the other side. If you follow me, if people start supporting me on Patreon, I will also post updates on Patreon, but for now there is no one there. So yeah, on GitHub there is no news, but yeah, if you want to follow the streams, you can follow the thread on Discuss, and otherwise you can follow me on Twitter at Clark Finkelman. And yeah, so that's all. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.